Big Z Reviews. Hi, my name is Brandon Zarzyczny, but you can call me Big Z. And today I'm doing a book review for Curious Tides, book one of the Drowned Gods duology by Pascale Lacelle. I might be saying that wrong. I think she's a French Canadian. And this is, like I said, this is her first book. And I'd heard things about this book, like I don't know if it's like on TikTok or different reviews, and it sounded really interesting. Once again about a magic school, and I that has a place in my heart. So when I read the summary of the book, it sounded really interesting, and I picked it up and actually immediately started reading it. Like it didn't really sit on my to read shelf for long, and I did enjoy it, but it definitely wasn't great. Like right now, like as it stands, I'm not sure if I want to read the sequel whenever it comes out. And that's too bad because there's a lot to like here. But I think the biggest problem is it's a book that takes place at a magic school, but there is no magic school aspect in the book. So the setup for Curious Tides is that in this world there's like everyone has a little bit of magic power, but most of the people are just ordinary people. But then certain people that have much more magical energy have powers, and that you go to school for, like they have mundane schools and they have magical schools. And this is they're going to like the most prestigious magic school in their country. And Emery, she is our main character, I say, and she is like the whole idea of this world's magic is that it's definitely into like these phases of the moon. And so it's like whatever moon you're born under, like the new moon, the full moon, then like everywhere in between, that like kind of determines what your magic could be. Like each one, like you have each phase of the moon has different types of magic that you're going to be if you're born then, and if you have magical power. But then there's also like other people that are born under an eclipse, and they're like have random special unique powers. And your main cast of characters is two viewpoint characters that you go back and forth between. Every chapter switches, and that's Emery, and she is a new moon healer, or also maybe an eclipse tide caller. But she is like pretty, like she barely got into this prestigious school because like she's a healer, but she's nothing special. But her best friend is Romy, and she was a waning moon dreamer. And her brother was Baz, who is an eclipse like time spinner. Like he can like reverse time. Like he can if there's like a locked door, he could move time to a when that door wasn't locked. And this is and he's the Baz is the other viewpoint character. And you also have a bunch of other characters, as the part of the whole group of people that they're all interacting with. But I think the most important people are Kieran, who is a full moon lightkeeper, who is the hot boy at the school, and he like is a romantic interest, along with maybe Baz and a bit of a love triangle for Emery. And then there's Kai, who is Baz's best friend, who is an eclipse nightmare weaver. Like the same thing, like similar to the dreamers, but to deal with the nightmares. And there's like a lot of interesting stuff because the whole idea is that this takes place like the sophomore year of this magic college for Emery, and the year before, she followed her friend who had joined who had kind of wasn't her friend that much anymore, and was maybe joining some weird cult or some secret society, some secret club. And Like they went to this Dover Moor, and that's kind of like people think that like that's why they built the college there, was like the Dover Moor caves, and there's like some really weird stuff in there, like time doesn't work quite right in there, and maybe it's like a doorway to other worlds, and like the cult, like they always have this thing that you go there, you say some stuff, put your hand on it, you cut your hand and put your hand on it, and that you get like a special mark, and if you survive, you can join the club. But Emery followed Romy and the other initiates, and also joined in the ceremony, and something happened, like maybe even just time slipped by faster than they expected, and the tide came in, and it killed everyone or disappeared everyone, except for Emery. And this is where I feel like this book could have been a lot better if it had taken place, if it had started the year before. Because so much of what's important about this book happened earlier. Like so much of this book is the character thinking about what happened the previous year. And it's just kind of odd. And, especially because there isn't, like I said, there is no magic schooling. Like, it's honestly so odd because between the two characters, they go to a class twice, I think. There might be a third, but I'm pretty sure there's only go to two classes in this entire book. And it's not, they don't even like, I think it's limited third person perspectives, but they don't even like mention after I went to class, I went to this party. They never even like bother mentioning that they had a class. Like it almost feels like a dream, like that you have like a decade after your days of college, where you're having a dream and you're remembering all the fun parts of college, but then your waking brain realizes, hey, you haven't been going to that history class that you didn't like. There's a final tomorrow. You better study. You better get ready. It's like, and because there's a lot of that, because the whole thing is that one of the magic classes that everyone has to take, like along with that's not about your specialization, like she didn't take the final in the previous semester because she left early after everyone died. So she has to like study for the final from the previous year, and that's like a class 2. She takes it, and then it's never mentioned again. Like, the professor must have felt bad for me, so they passed me, and it's like it's just odd. It's especially odd because the magic system and this world is very interesting. And I think the reason magic schools work so well in like a fantasy book is that you can introduce the magic of the world and how this world works to the reader via the school. They're learning about how this world works, and they never even like attempted to do that. Like there's a little bit of like schooling not in school, because like Baz kind of helps her, because the whole thing with the eclipse people, like everyone kind of hates them because they can like their powers, if they use too much, they go like supernova and they explode everything around them, and they can kill people. It's really dangerous. So everyone's like worried about not doing that. And then if you do that, they take you to asylum and take your magic away and do weird experiments on you, maybe. But like then he, like when Emery finds out she might be an eclipse tide caller that has access to all the magic, something that hasn't been seen for centuries. It's also, other people call it tide thief. But like you get a little bit of exploration of the different magics, but like I wanted even more of that. And two, like it's so funny, she's a healer is what she thinks she is, but like she never heals anyone. I think she tries to heal someone early in the book, and I think she might heal someone at the end of the book. But like she never even like studies healing, like have some classes about how the body works, or have like it's all, and also her magic is very hand wavy when they talk about how the healing works. And I think that like for how interesting and in depth the magic system is, where like if you're like your powers, you're at your full strength when the moon is at your birth moon, like the phase of the moon. But then if it's not your phase of the moon, you can still access your magic power, but you have to do like bloodletting. You have to like cut yourself and mix your blood with water to access your magic power. And there's even more stuff like if you access too much power when it's not your time of the month, you'll like your full power will be diminished when it is your phase. And there's so much going on. But like it's so like it would make a lot more sense if you were taught this like in a class. But most of it happens like in their minds, like they're thinking about it kinda as a way for the author to do an info dump to the person reading the book. And it's that's the aspect of it was kind of heavy handed. But then there's a lot of interesting stuff though, like the whole mystery of what happened to her friends. And like there's like I said, I was feeling that Pascale Lacelle, she really loved the partying aspects of college, and she loved like the hanging out with friends, and she loved all of that sort of stuff. Maybe she probably had a sorority, like she like because there's like I said, there's no schooling, but the whole idea is that like it's at a school, and like there's some weird like secret society that maybe kind of runs the country, but all like the most impressive young magicians or young magic users are granted into it, and that she wants to join because she wants to find out what's going on. But she wasn't part of it because she wasn't good enough. But then now she's might be something else going on because she's a tide caller. And there's a lot of interesting stuff, and there's also more interesting stuff like with like Baz, because like his father went in supernova with he was also eclipse, and like but so like there's stuff like his father and his friend then also went supernova in the break between semesters. So like there's the stuff going on with the institution for like these people that have their magic taken away. There's some weird stuff going on there. And there's like a lot of really fun things. I almost kind of hate that it was set at a magic school. Like that's what the book was sold on, and the author didn't bother using it, other than just as a setting. It almost would have made more sense. I think like Baz is a little bit older. It almost feels a little bit like he could be doing like graduate work, like he's a graduate student, but like he doesn't do any teaching or he doesn't. So like I don't think it's meant to be that. But like if they were all graduate students, or if they like the way the school, it seems very much like a college but for magic. Like if it was just some weird like more mentorship program, but then Emery never even met a mentor. Like she did, like at least Baz kind of had 2 meetings with his mentor. Like I just as if the author didn't really care about doing a magic school story, even though that's what she sold, and that's it's just I think if I didn't have that expectation going into it, maybe I would have liked it more. But I mean, there is some really interesting stuff, and the writing is elevated. I found the writing to be pretty much elevated, especially because this could almost be considered like this is like a little bit above younger adult, but I don't know if I call it like full like adult fantasy. But like there's this whole thing, like Baz is fascinated by this book that like someone had written like a couple hundred years ago, and that is all about like the drowned gods. And like there's like that's a lot of the opening like sections have like quotes from it, and there's a lot of stuff like going on that like might see like what's happening that might like mirror what's happening in their story. But I found this one quote from it to be such an interesting way to view a book. I saw I read because I read that and I kind of love the way they described it. They obviously Pascale Lacelle loves reading and loves books. "This here is the best book you'll ever read," they'd said. "Do you know why?" Baz has shaken his head, overwhelmed with wonder. "Because this book is magic. It's like a portal, you see. It lets you step into other worlds and exist there for a time." "What kind of worlds?" Jay had winked at him and said, "Open it and see." Baz had done that and had fallen irrevocably in love. The rest was history. And I kind of love, that's like my favorite quote of the book. And like I said, the writing is good. I still get stuck on, the what the author did, and also like the actual, a lot of the story is a bit of like the whole love triangle. Like if you have a woman main character and there's a nerdy guy Baz that is maybe should be the right guy for him, but she's much more attracted to the really popular kid, Kieran. And there's a lot of strife there. He may be, who knows, he may not, like he's kind of like the leader of the cult of they're at the school, like the current head of this year of these, this generation of cultists, or secret societies. And like you don't know what his true, what his goals and motivations fully are. And there's some interesting stuff there. At the same time, it's a well-tread path. It has a lot of tropes, but at the same time, there's a lot of stuff to love about this book. I still think I felt like it did drag a little bit. Like once I got like I was really enjoying it halfway through, and then like at a certain point I kind of knew where they were going, but I was like only halfway into the book, and I was just waiting for them to get there. I think that's why like I didn't feel as like I didn't have to read the next chapter. I didn't like read one chapter and I couldn't put it down. I never really felt that. And I think that's why the reason I'm not sure if I'm going to continue it or not. But I wouldn't I wouldn't say stay away, because there's a lot of stuff to like about it. Like I probably give like a 7 out of 10. There's some really interesting stuff here, but it's definitely not what I maybe might have wanted from it. But thanks for watching. If you want to see more of me, you can subscribe down below. Thanks.